Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers. Welcome to a new Doctor Who epic video for today. So in this video, I'm going to talk about, is Doctor Who Season 18 a good or bad season? Now, Season 18 was broadcast from the 30th of August 1980 to the 31st of March 1981, containing over 7 stories. Now, this season, it is Tom Baker's finale season. We have Leona Ward's departure as Romana 2. We have John Neeson's departure as K9. We have K9's departure, the actual prop leaves at the end of this season. Well, third to last story. We also have a new introduction to Adric, played by Matthew Waterhouse, Nissa, played by Sarah Sutton, and of course Tegan, who's played by Jeanette Fielding, as well as Peter Davison as the 5th Doctor at the end of the season. As well as we have to have another newcomer, aka Anthony Ainley, who plays the Master, one of my favourite Masters, my all-time favourite Master, I should say. So, what can I tell you about this season? Is it a good season? Is it a bad season? It depends how you ask people about it, because some people say this is Tom Baker's weakest season, or some people say, oh, I actually quite enjoyed it. I'm one of the ones that actually do enjoy this season. It is a good season. So before I talk about this whole season as a general, so I'm going to show you what I own of each of these stories. So I only own 3 VHSs from this season. So I own one of my favourite stories, which is Maglos on VHS, as well as The Keeper of Traken, and of course the Gopolis, which is Tom Baker's finale as the 4th Doctor. And then of course, coming into the DVD range, I own, as you can probably tell, the Leisure Hive. We have Maglos, like so. We also have the East Space Trilogy with Warriors, with Full Circle, State of Decay, and Warriors Gate, as well as we have the New Beginning box set with Keeper Traken and the Gopolis, with Peter Davison's beginning story in the box set. And then, of course, back in 2019, the very first Doctor Who Blu-ray collection box set was, of course, Season 18, after the straight release after Season 19 with Peter Davison. So I just want to talk about this season as a whole. So I'm not going to bother showing the DVDs and VHS, because this is the artwork that we got for Season 18. So I'm popping Season 18 just next to the side of me, as you can see. Season 18. Now, Season 18, as I can say, as I've suggested, we do have some good stories in it. There's a couple of bad ones, like the Leisure Hive. But the majority of the season is pretty much good. So I'm going to talk about each of the stories, and then I'm going to say what I think, if it is a good or bad season. So coming into the Leisure Hive, we are literally on the planet of technologics. I can't say the actual word. I can't get it out there. It's stuck on the tip of my tongue. But so anyway, we start off the season being set on Brighton. The Doctor has passed through the random gadget on the TARDIS, so that the Black Guardian can't trace them. But as the 4th Doctor says, I can't keep running from the Black Guardian in a full eternity, can I? Now, K9 gets blown up in this story. This is the one of the K9 gets a load of versions of him, ends up getting destroyed, and through Season 16, 17 and 18, the Doctor and Romana have to fix him. So K9 goes into the sea after chasing after a beach ball that Romana throws, and he goes and blows up. Turns out the Doctor's got K9's sea defences wrong, and as the Doctor says, well, I can't be right about everything now, can I? I absolutely love the way Tom Baker just does that performance. And then when you get onto the planet, you can tell Tom Baker has had enough at this point, because they literally just shoved him into the machine and to make him to become old. Yeah, Tom Baker and the producer at the time, aka John Nathan Turner, argued quite a lot filming this season. He wanted Tom to do one thing. Tom says, no, I'm doing what I do, because I know I played the Doctor the longest, so I'm doing what I want to do. That's the kind of thing about this season. You got John Nathan Turner losing his temper with Tom Baker. You got Tom Baker losing his temper with John Nathan Turner. You have Tom and Leona Ward basically in a relationship at this point. And there are, like, in State of Decay, there are, like, some scenes where you see them, like, together, and they're not, like, getting on that much. They are trying to get the characters right, but when you look at the stuff in the Season 18 box set on Blu-ray, you can actually see the way Leona Ward and Tom Baker separate, because we're having arguments and stuff. But the Leisure Hive is the weakest story of this season for me. It's not the greatest opener to a season. I mean, if I was going to rank all of the season openers out of Classic Who, you'll probably guess which ones are going to be the top ones. This one is literally the least bottom of the openers. And when I was watching a video by Adam something on YouTube, who does the Doctor Who viewers ratings and stuff, season 18 had the pretty much of the baddest viewing ratings of Doctor Who history. And starting with the Leisure Hive, I can understand why. I mean, the Leisure Hive is terrible. But jumping into the next story of the season, we have Maglos. So we have the Fourth Doctor, Romana, and K9 trapped in a time loop created by Maglos, who is this alien, shape-shifting alien creature. He's like a cactus, and then he morphs into the human, and then he literally shapeshifts into the Doctor, so they can get hold of the chocolate helix. Now, this story features the last ever appearance of the actress known as Jacqueline Hill, who played the first Doctor's companion, Barbara. But she plays a totally different character in this story. Again, this story is pretty much... I really enjoy it, to be honest with you. It's a great, double ganger episode. I always do like it when the Doctor has a double ganger, like in Enemy of the World with Patrick Troughton. I think there's one with William Hartnell. Can't remember which one it was. It's one of the missing episodes. It's definitely one of the missing episodes, I think. No, it's The Chase, sorry. The Chase, when the Daleks create that evil kind of robot version of the first Doctor. I absolutely love this one with Tom Baker. I always love when you got somebody trying to pretend to be the Doctor, or somebody that looks like the Doctor's got to pretend to be them. I really do enjoy that sort of background stuff. And then when the Fourth Doctor goes, I've seen you somewhere before, I do like Tom. Tom's performance is a lot better in this story than it is in the Leisure Hive, I have to say. His performance is absolutely phenomenal. I do like Tom Baker's performance as the Doctor in this story, because it's a lot better than it is in the Leisure Hive. And then, of course, at the end of the story, the Doctor and Romana end up getting a message from Gallifrey asking for Romana to go home. So that's the whole point of the East Space Trilogy. So while they're travelling to Gallifrey after dropping the human off, so the Doctor's there in the TARDIS with K9 and Romana. Romana's there sulking, saying, the Time Lords want me back. You can't fight Time Lords, Romana. You did. Yes. And lost. Plus, she only came to help to find the segment to the key to time. So, of course, after all that's gone on, the TARDIS ends up getting pulled into a new universe. A universe of negative coordinates, which is why it's called E-Space. A whole new area of space where it's negative coordinates. You have N-Space and E-Space. Now, N-Space is negative coordinates, where E-Space is negative coordinates. Oh, I can't remember what it is. I know one of them's negative coordinates and one of them's... it's very confusing. Obviously, and this story introduces the new companion played by Matthew Waterhouse, Adric, who is great with Tom Baker. I do prefer Matthew Waterhouse's character Adric with Tom Baker than I do with Peter Davison's. I absolutely do like the East Space Trilogy, to be honest with you. I like the Mistfall and the Marshmen when they come out of the of the river and stuff, when they come out like that, dripping out of water, and it's like, and you just see them walking. The Doctor goes, "Hello. Oh, that's a bit strange. I normally get on quite well with children." I do like the way the Doctor just does that. And then, of course, when you have that epic scene in the Star Line and the Doctor and the TARDIS just appears, it goes, "What heavens is that?" He went, "Good heavens, it's Romana." He goes, "Romana?" And then this girl comes out, and then it goes, "Romana," these two lads, and then Romana, then Adric's brother Marsh comes out, and then he goes, "Adric, where's Romana? She's back in the cave." "What cave?" "Oh, tell me later." I love the fact when the Doctor goes, "What's this, Noah's Ark?" I absolutely do like full circle. Now, State of Decay, it is the darkest story of this season, and it is phenomenal. This is where we find out, in the middle of E-Space, we find that the Time Lords fought against an ancient race of vampires that end up vanishing into E-Space by accident. And 3 of them survived, with the Great Vampire being reborn underneath the planet, underneath the spaceship's chambers. But the Doctor does end up killing it, because he shoots the rocket up and backs down and straight into the heart of the Great Vampire. And then, of course, this is the Doctor's arch's enemy, because this is supposed to be the Time Lord's arch enemy, and the Doctor finds out that Rassilon led an army of Time Lords to fight against vampires in ancient Gallifreyan bow ships and stuff, which is very, very great for Gallifreyan sort of history. But it's still a great story as well, because it's great and stuff, because you get to see vampires You do get to see, I would say you like to try and get to see people suck blood, but you don't. But it's a really good vampire story twist on Doctor Who. And I really do enjoy State of Decay. And then, of course, the final story of this trilogy, which is known as Warrior's Gate. So they're coming back into, they're trying to get back into E-Space. No, sorry, they're trying to get back into N-Space. That's it, N-Space. They're trying to get back into N-Space, and then, of course, they end up going to the Gateway, where everything's going wrong. We've got the spaceship of humans trying to break out. They've got hold of these aliens that can travel in minds and stuff, and cut the story short, this is where Romana departs with K9, because K9 gets damaged by the time wounds, and I do like the fact that then the Doctor goes, Romana, take K9 with you. He should be safe with you behind the mirrors. You will be known as Romana of them all. I do like the way the Doctor just says that you will be known as Romana of the all. And then, of course, Romana leaves with K9. Now, this one feels a kind of a different sort of departure story, because like it is with Nyssa, it doesn't, and Leela, it just comes out of nowhere. You don't know that she's going to leave until that last final moments. I might need to do a ranking video of how do I rank each of the companions' departure stories. But that's basically it for the E-Space trilogy. So now we go back into our space, N-Space, when we go to Keeper of Traken. So by travelling in the TARDIS, and they get called from the Keeper of Traken himself. So the Doctor ends up going to investigate after the Keeper ends up asking him to help. And then, of course, they come across the statue Malka, which indeed, if I should say this, is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen the story. The Malka is, of course, the Master's TARDIS. Yes, the Master's back in this story, played by Jeffrey Beavers in part 4. He takes over the woman, the Nyssa's stepmom. I can't remember her name. You've got Tremus. Tremus is the man who the Master takes over. Cassia, that's it, Cassia. The Master gets control of Cassia's mind by putting the bracelet and stuff. So she betrays her boyfriend, her husband, with the Doctor and Adric in the cave, in the trap and stuff. And it comes a really good story. But when the Doctor finds out it's the Master, he goes, "I thought you were going to destroy me. I intend to use you, Doctor. I'm going to use your body." And the Master's plan is to jump into the Doctor's body so he can get hold of the Doctor's remaining regenerations, but he does fail because of Adric and Nyssa messing around with the source, and the Master's there having a paddy. He's like, "Aah!" And then he goes into a secondary TARDIS, which he's got. Now, the Master's very lucky to get hold of 2 TARDISes. I mean, the Malka is one TARDIS, and he has another TARDIS disguised as a clock. Somehow, I don't know how he gets and hold of the Malka TARDIS, because when you see him in the Deadly Assassin, he escapes in the clock TARDIS, and still in the story, you see the clock TARDIS that he escaped in the Deadly Assassin. And then, of course, at the end of the story, after the 4th Doctor and Adric leaves the planet, the Master ends up taking over Tremus's body, going, "So, a new body, at last." And then, of course, we're going into the final story, which is the Gopolis, which is Tom Baker's finale as the Doctor. So while the Doctor is going to Earth to examine a police box because he wants to fix the TARDIS's dimensions, so it can actually get out of the way being stuck as a police box, so it can actually try and blend in with atmospheres like it was in ancient Egypt. It could be a pyramid and stuff. But, of course, it does go wrong with the Master's interference on Logopolis. So when you've got the Doctor and Adric on Earth, you end up having Tegan walking into the TARDIS. And then she kind of gets scared when she hears the Master's laugh going, "Ha, ha, 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 ha," like that. And then, of course, when they do get to Logopolis, they ended up going to the Monitor to try and get the dimensions working in the TARDIS, where the Master is. And then, of course, the Watcher, who's been watching the Doctor at some point, who ends up being a Doctor from an alternate universe to try and warn the Doctor what's going to happen. As the 4th Doctor says, "I need to prepare for the moment." Like we find out in the final episode of Logopolis, where goes, "It's the end. The moment has been prepared for." I absolutely do like the way Nyssa, she tries to find her father. When she finds the Master in her father's body, because he's literally going, "Nyssa." And he makes her wear a bracelet, which controls her and stuff. And then, of course, when they get to the Pharos Institute on Earth, the Master ends up trying to interfere and helping the planet, the universe's collapse, which is the 4th Doctor does stop him, and of course it leads into his regeneration into the 5th Doctor. So that's basically a bit of information about the stories. But for me to actually sit here and say, is season 18 a good season and why you should really watch it? Now, for me to actually sit here and say this to you, it's either way. You can either get this on DVD, because if you're a VHS person, try and collect these on VHS. But if you want to watch season 18, I would suggest go for the DVDs, because the DVDs are a lot cheaper than the Blu-ray box set. This is the limited edition, by the way. There is a standard release, which I haven't got, and I don't really think I'm going to bother. Once I've got them on Blu-ray, there's no point re-getting the same ones on Blu-ray, even if it's just like a slimmer box. Plus, the artwork on here is pretty much amazing. I do love the artwork. But the one thing I do have to say about this is just, season 18, most people don't really consider this to be a good season. I don't know why. I was talking to a few people last night on Facebook, and they were like saying, oh, season 18 is not that good. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You got some good stories in it. Maglos, Full Circle, State of Decay, Warrior's Gate, which has changed my opinion on it as well. Keep a Trucking on the Gopolis. The only bad story of the season is the Leisure Hive. So I don't get why people are there moaning about this incredible season, because it's Tom Baker. Yes, okay, Tom Baker's Doctor isn't the kind of fun Doctor that we have from seasons like 15 to 17. He goes into a more kind of mysterious persona and stuff, and he goes into a more of a Mardy Doctor. But season 18 is pretty much enjoyable, and I do like season 18. It's just an incredible season. Tom Baker is great in this season, apart from the Leisure Hive. But for me to sit here and say, should you watch this season? I would highly recommend, if you want to sit down and watch it, try and get the DVDs, because they're cheaper. If you have got £37.99 available, go and get the normal standard release of this box set, because once you get season 18, it is incredible. It's a lot better in HD and stuff. But for me to actually say here that I've got 3 VHSs and the DVDs complete, I have to say season 18 isn't really that bad. I really do enjoy it. So, yeah. I'm quite looking forward to season 17 coming out on Blu-ray next week, which will be going straight next to this one on my awesome shelf. I'm quite looking forward to having season 17, but for me, I have to say the one season I'm really looking forward to of Tom Baker coming out on Blu-ray is season 13. But season 18, it's not as a bad season. It's good. It is good. It's better than season 16, I have to say, because I do like the way the Master returns after being last seen in season 14. So, 4 seasons later, the Master's back, and he takes over Tremus's body, and he becomes one of my favourite incarnations of the Master, played by Anthony Ainley. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of Doctor Who Season 18. Is it the season that you don't enjoy? Is it a season that you do enjoy? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and share, and join me for more Doctor Who content videos. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being magnificent Doctor Who fans.